Welcome back, class. So, as we talked about before, we were going to do root words. So here they are. Now, before I begin, I just want to give a distinction between prefixes, suffixes, and root words. All right, I'm going to read to you a definition I got off Google. A prefix is a word part with a specific meaning at the beginning of a word. A suffix is a word part with a specific meaning at the end of a word. A root word is the main part of a word that contains its core meaning. So if you've watched some videos that I've already made, we talked about prefixes and suffixes. And so if you'd like to go back and see those, please do. But in any case, prefixes are letters that are placed at the beginning of a root word, and suffixes are letters placed at the end of a root word, and their job is to modify the meaning of the root word. All right? So now that we understand that, in our everyday English language usage, there are obvious root words that we can point out. For example, in a word such as usage, we would automatically recognize the root word as being used, and AGE is the suffix. Another example would be reopen. So more commonly, we can automatically see that open is the root word and re is the prefix. Okay, so now the root words that I will be presenting to you in this video and several videos afterward are going to be words that are roots but can be easily mistaken for prefixes or suffixes simply because of their placement and also because they are not typical in our daily usage of the English language. However, they are root words, they contain the core meaning, and they are not prefixes and suffixes, even though they may look like it. So without further ado, I have 2 categories we'll talk about today and 4 words. Now, if I'm unable to get it done in a timely manner, I will make a part 2. So stay tuned because I don't want to hold you too long. But if it does run a little longer, please come back for part 2. Now, without further ado, the first category we're going to look at is in the meaning of sharp and bitter, okay? And I have 2 words here, ACER and ACR. Again, these are root words. They are not prefixes or suffixes. They themselves hold the core meaning of the word, and anything before or after it is simply a modification. Both of these come from Latin, which means sharp and bitter. You know we don't use acer every day to describe sharp and bitter, but it's still a root word. Same with ACR. So here you have an ACR word, acrimony. Acrimony means a chaotic, sharp, and bitter situation. So there's your ACR. There's your root word. Now, as a side note, mony is a suffix. It comes from Latin also. It is Latin for a situation, function, a state, or role. That's basically it. That's what it means. That's what the suffix mony means. Okay, let's move on to another example of an ACR root word. Acerbic. All right. Acerbic is an adjective to describe a type of speech people give when they're being mean and clever. You know, they deliver it to you in a cleverly mean way, but it means sharp and bitter. So sharp and bitter speech would be acerbic, and it is an ACER word. If we were to get into the etymology of the suffix "bic," we could probably see more, but we understand this word as a whole in our daily usage of English. Now, you have exacerbate, which means to make a bad situation or feeling worse. So again, this definition, this here you got your ACE root word, which means sharp and bitter. And to break this word down further, we would go into the etymological history of bait and X. But we know exacerbate in our daily English usage to mean make something worse, sharp and bitter. Okay? All right, y'all. So now that we've talked about the sharp and bitter and given our examples of both, we can move on to love. Come back for part 2, y'all.